and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbo. On this show tonight, we'll be talking about Nigeria and South Africa, both sides. This will be the 15th time they will be meeting, and of course, in all, trust Nigeria. Nigeria's won 7 times out of that. And of course, South Africa winning 2 and 5 draws. That's the 14th time they've met. But on Wednesday, it's going to be the 15th time Nigeria and South Africa will be meeting each other. But our focus today is obviously on the Africa Cup of Nations because, yes, it's the season of the Africa Cup of Nations. And we're talking a little bit about boxing, what happened at the weekend in London. And also, yes, live games currently going on in the English Premier League. But first, is the Africa Cup of Nations. Austin Okonagbo will be joining me from London. And of course, you also be having Edafe. Esogen will also be joining us on the program. And Swa Shafal is also in the studio. She will also be joining me. But first, let's just see how it looks like. When you're into the Africa Cup of Nations, there's so much buzz around it.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria are in Bouake ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations semi-final against South Africa. The Super Eagles appear the strongest team left at the competition, but they say focus is the watchword for the next encounter.
We show until now good spirit, we show until now good organization, we show until now good demand, commitment, sacrifice. We play like a team together. Now we have a tough match against a good national team, and we want to beat South Africa for reach the final because it's our goal.
I think he's hard on us when he needs to be hard on us, and he's lenient on us when he needs to be lenient on us. So there's a correct balance there for us players to progress and do things in the right way.
I think what's made us strong together is not just the performances, but the whole staff, everyone that's not even playing. It's like one big family, and that's what's given us the strength to get to where we are. So if we continue to do so, I'm sure that we can achieve greatness and create history.
Veteran coach Hugo Bruce might not have had a convincing run in charge of South Africa before the tournament, but the 71-year-old Belgian is proving fans back home wrong.
There were many people in South Africa that didn't believe in that team. But we believed in it. The players believed in the fact that it could happen. And it happened. And I think this is a very, very good thing for South African football.
Football enthusiasts expect a tough encounter between both sides at the Peace Stadium.
When it comes to these kind of games, nobody's a favorite, because it's a semi-final, it's a one-off game, And I know we always say that we were getting the better of South Africa, but I also remember when they got the better of us here in Uyo. But I think what I would look at, I wouldn't look at this Nigeria against South Africa. I would just look at the way that we've actually been playing in the tournament, and we've had a very solid tournament. And I just feel that this is our year to come through and win the game.
You can't underrate South Africa because it's not easy for a team to play group stages, to play second round, to play quarter-final, and be in semi-final. Look at the game against Cape Verde. Their goalkeeper, he saved 4 penalties after the shootout, and it shows that they have a game plan, and I believe they can do something. But Nigeria, traditionally Nigeria is far better than South Africa.
It's a must win. I trust the guys. They've been improving day by day, and we are very positive about the game because they know the science of the game, the philosophy of the game. I know in no time we're just going to beat them out of the game.
I know we have the bragging right over South Africa, and they should be wary of Nigeria, of course, because of the quality of players in the Super Eagles team. And I know that their defense is no match for the attack of Super Eagles because they have about, I think, 5 Mamelodi Sundowns players in that defense already.
South Africa won't be a problem to us, but it's going to be a difficult game because they want to come all out to at least to have a result. We've been ahead of them if you are going to look at
the number of times we played them, we've won them many times.
Africa tomorrow in the semi.
As Nigeria chase the 4th title, head coach Jose Peseiro knows finding a clinical edge could be decisive. A victory over South Africa will bring them closer to the silverware.
All right, 2 more games to go. We'll see if the Super Eagles of Nigeria can do it again. Swa Chappelle is right here in the studio. Swa, it's great to have you join me.
I'm so excited. This is the first time I'm getting into this big space. So good evening to you, Sisi, and what a great time to be alive. The AFCON of our adulthood. The last time we were on this, we were still in secondary school, university, at least for me. So now getting to experience it in so many ways, so much goals, so much defensive grit from the Super Eagles, so much expression of African football coming to its fullness. No more minnows, big money on ground, big exciting football in a matter of hours. We're here for it.
Yeah, we're here for it. Austin, you ready to join me now?
Yes, what a great taste to you, Cecilia. And of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Good to see Swa. I also know that face waiting on the wings to join us. Action-packed world of sports. I know it's all about the Africa Cup of Nations. And for Nigeria, at this stage now, if you were in doubt of the Super Eagles, you need to squash that and just support the team, because now it's looking like they can do it again, Cecilia. So let's just see what will happen against South Africa. And when they get to the final, you know the rest. All right, Edafe Sogene is also ready to join us on the program. Edafe, when was the last time I saw you? Like 6 years, 10 years?
So first up, this is the setup, right? I didn't know it was going to be the coming together of family members and friends. Chief Swa is there. Austin Okonakman, a week ago we're together, and I didn't know it was going to be you anyway, but it's good. I can't remember the last time we saw, but it's been a while. Yeah. And let's come to just the same way the last time we won the African Cup of Nations was 11 years ago. Yeah. And this is one of those times where the team went to the Nations Cup, and I'm sure probably of the 200 million Nigerians, maybe only 5 people or 10 or 15, 20, we can count on the fingers how many people believe that they can go all the way to the finals. I think it was the first time in my life. I started watching the Nations Cup since like 1988 when Cameroon beat us in the finals. Well, we're robbed in the finals. And there was not a Nations Cup that we've gone that I've not said Nigeria is going to win it. Like optimistically stupid about that. Nigeria is going to win it. But this is the first one where we went to this tournament and I was saying, I bet my life that we're going to get knocked out in the group stage. And then beyond that, I also made a bet that if Nigeria even wins it, I'm going to cut my hair skin. Something I've not done since I was 11. So these guys are really going to mess me up now, but it's a pleasant one. Yeah, of course, you have to cut that hair because I know... okay, I'm not going to say anything. All right, let's get into it. You can't be doing that to me. You can't be doing that to me. I'm your guy. I know, but when it comes to predictions like this, maybe you have to shave it live on our show. Maybe that's what you're going to do. All right, confirmation of what we are going to be expecting on Wednesday. Yes, not just only Nigeria that will be in action. You also have host nation, Côte d'Ivoire, that have refused to leave the tournament. And also you have DR Congo, who at least all through the group stage. Did they win the game? No, but they're right here. Okay, confirmation of what we have is just the fixtures for Wednesday. Now, Nigeria and South Africa will face each other at 6 p.m. Nigerian time, but it's going to be 5 p.m. in Boaké. And of course, Côte d'Ivoire and DR Congo, theirs will be at 9 p.m. in Bimpe. That's the venue where Côte d'Ivoire were defeated 4-0. Against Equatorial Guinea, who are right now at home having the highest goal scorer, leaving with 5 goals away from the tournament, and also the highest scoring side at the group stage. But you ask, where are they now? Well, they are back home. But this is what we'll be expecting on Wednesday night. And of course, let me start off with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Obviously, that's where we are starting from. So I'm going to ask you, Edafe just confessed that, for the first time we are watching Africa Cup of Nations, he never expected Super Eagles to go this far. If they manage to win, well, it's going to cut off his head. But you, you had that expectations coming into it, or you were one of those who were not saying, yeah, we can't do that again. That's just a flop.
Yes, we couldn't. Honestly speaking, this is one of the times that we are all glad to be wrong. You get what I mean? As a Nigerian, we want to be wrong about them. And this is the best way to do it. Yeah. You shut people up by the work that you put in. I took some time in the group stages to observe what they were doing in Ivory Coast. And the first game, it made us seem like, oh, it's same of same. We're not going to do much. And the defensive grit they showed against Equatorial Guinea, and Equatorial Guinea that had enough panache to scatter a home team in front of their fans. If you know how sad the people of Ivory Coast were that day, everybody was scared. As in, if you drop in the road in Kokodi, everybody will hear. That's what they did. And we were able to hook them from there. I'll say, despite the fact that our turnovers have been very low, have been very flagrant, we've not been very good with the strikes. I mean, Osimhen has like 19 shots at the goal and only like 5% of it is on target. We are still getting there. We still have the best defense, and I feel like we've done enough to give the boys their credibility that this semi-finals is not Jerry Kangabia, it's not, oh, we just did ticket. When you look at the squad, when we were bringing out the best teams out of the group stages, nobody saw our Super Eagles in any position. But you know what? It's not by getting accolades, it's by focusing on your focus. And I like what the captain has said, what Musa has said over time, what Troost has said. And coming into a semi-final like this, when we are facing in South Africa, where Echukwueze has scored, William Troost Ekong has scored against the South Africans, and you know, they have the flair and they have a bit of dynamism in the team to be able to quell teams that play like South Africa does. I'm very confident to a certain level. Let's do it again.
Okay. All right. Austin, I mean, you're there. Nigeria and South Africa tomorrow. I know you have some questions for Edafe. He has already started it. Over to you.
Yeah, you know, Cecilia, like never before, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they need to take their destiny into their hands. They need to show workings. They need to show character. To an extent, also show leadership, show superiority. The records speak well for you, so you just need to consolidate on it. So I just expect them to go out tomorrow, play purpose-driven football, you know, boss it as much as possible. And if they can't get 2 goals in first half, just to take some pressure off them, because South Africa is that sort of team that when you least expect, they will stun you. I still remember clearly that match in Uyo. I was covering it. I was at the back of the Super Eagles post, and from nowhere, South Africa scored 2. It took Sonia Aluko to, you know, save our blushes, and that game ended 2-2, but we couldn't go anywhere with the results. So I think they should go back and take a look at it and say, look, South Africa, some way, somehow, whatever has been pushing them at this tournament might just, you know, keep pushing them. So they must stop it by being exceptional. You know, by playing the sort of football that when they go into the dressing room, they're only just coming back to clean up the work. Edafe, we've seen football tell stranger stories. I'm hoping that we don't get any strange story tomorrow, but how do you expect the Super Eagles to approach that game against Bafana of South Africa?
I think they pretty much started with giving us a scare that Victor Osimhen have abdominal pain and all that. That was, for me, a little bit of concern. As much as he's not scoring, just like Swa said, that he's got 19 shots on target, 19 shots on goal and maybe 5% on target. He's been the guy who puts the fear of God in the hearts of the opposition. Cameroonian defenders will tell you, go back and if you can study body language and look at the faces of the Cameroonian defender, you will see that. Thank God he's gone to join the team now, and that could just be playing in the minds of everybody. It was a mind game we're playing. Remember how Tunisia did that to us in 2021 when they said that 15 players or 16 players in their team already have COVID. They're not going to play players against us, but then we know how that happened. But when you look at this I'm one for both football history, stats, and all that. History tells me that DR Congo have won this Nations Cup twice, 68 and 74, if my memory serves me right. And on both occasions, they beat the host country in the semi-finals. They're going to be playing the host country tomorrow in the semi-finals. So as much as I'm excited, Nigeria is also the country that had lost the most number of matches in the finals. Unfortunately, all of those losses came against Cameroon. Now, one of the things that I'm looking at in this game is, as much as we look at South Africa, and I dare them to say South Africa cannot be our rivals, sugar size. Yeah, but South Africa have also come to beat us in some games that we don't expect them to beat us. But I dare not to, I don't want to say that they are our rivals. Having said that, football have a way of playing funny tricks on everybody, and that could just happen tomorrow. I'm still not one of those who's jumping over the top of the mountain and saying that Nigeria is going to win this tournament. They should. Borrowing from the words of Swear again, I'm glad to be wrong. They should prove us wrong. But one of the things I've also noticed with the Super Eagles is I think they do better when they adapted. So if I have an advice for Nigerians is stop supporting the Super Eagles, stop believing in them. Just keep doubting them because that's when they prove us wrong. They did that in 2013. They did that in 94. They did that in 80. In 1980, the history says, when I interviewed Aduke Amesimaka, people were angry that they were taking Christian Chukwu to the tournament, that it was too old. He ended up winning the best player of the tournament. So let's just keep this energy going like that.
but not now, Daffy, because at this stage now they need all the love and support that they can get. But I totally agree with you. Even in 2013, we brought out the Suns, and we're like, who are these guys going to the AFCON? I mean, God bless his soul. Coach Stephen Keshi went with 19 debutants. 19 debutants, and he went on to win. You know what? I'd like to hear what Swa is going to say as regards what the Super Eagles can do differently tomorrow. But let's listen to Coach Jose Pizarro and star boy Victor Osimhen.
You mean Jose Mourinho?
Listen to Jose Pizarro now talking about, you know, ahead of the game, the kind of confidence he's got in for the team.
I don't know if Nigeria is favorite for everybody or not. I don't know if it's favorite or not. But for me, I believe you can win this competition. Believe one thing. You must do other thing. Tomorrow, in the pitch, you must repeat the same performance like last match. Defend it together with 11. We know the capacity and the power of the opponent. When opponent put Morocco out, Morocco did a fantastic World Cup. One team with good quality, capacity. For that, my players and me, we know what you must do. But sure, you must play 100% or more for beat one very good team.
Must be 100% to be able to get something out of that game. South Africa lost their opening game to Mali 2-0, but then a draw against, the next game was a draw, and then they went on to beat Morocco, and that's not just that. Of course, the game against Cape Verde, where the goalkeeper had to stop 4 penalties. Good ones are that, and then that's why Hayes is saying they have to be 100%. But the good news we're having today, where Nigerians are literally celebrating, is the fact that Victor Osimhen will be fit to start the game. We heard from the media officer this evening that, look, Osimhen traveled. He didn't travel with the team yesterday because of the abdominal pain he had. But then today, around 5 p.m., you know, he arrived in Buaki, even trained with the team this evening. Of course, the medical team now declared that he's fit and is ready for selection. But we don't know if he's going to start tomorrow or not. But the fact that he's fit and ready for selection is a plus for the team. Or what do you think?
I think it's a plus. One thing that most people...
You think it's a mind game, as Daffy said?
It's a bit of a mind game, and it's a bit of... See, honestly speaking, when I spoke with some strikers, even from our national team that had played before, they all were saying the same thing. The amount of energy that boy has put every single game. Yeah. I mean, I was at the stadium off camera where they were matching him, and I was saying I had to go to the touchline and be raking for the ref of the day. And you know, there was a match that was on him off the ball, and he was so angry, he pulled off his marks and he was shouting, and the full stadium went mad. In fact, it was from that day they started screaming Osimhen, Osimhen, Osimhen. He's putting 110. And because each and every one of them, they're putting 110. I'm glad that it's stomach pain that's his problem, because every person that's playing, what's his face? Igalo said it in the lives. Among the former goalkeeper, Ezenwa, they were all saying the same thing. Oh, but the way these boys, they put body for ground, let me speak in local parlance, how they go take cope, make them not crash. But we've had the advantage of extra days because we start our games first. I think it's a threat. Anytime it's there, that is number one. Number two, other than Ivory Coast, I mean, we've had the most touches inside the box when it comes to dangerous chances created. We made about 44. What I look at is the fact that Nigeria has 3 different goal strikers minus, or scorers minus the own goal. That gives us a chance. Because when I talk with the South Africans, especially the way they set up their female team and their men's team, they have videographers. They watch us. They know what we are doing. And the fact that we've been pulling out stunts with people that people didn't look at initially. People like Ademola Lookman that's coming from the deep and running into spaces to get that shot going. I think it's giving us opportunity. So for me, what we need to do is to apply pressure more. As men, they mount, as they like to say. We apply more pressure with the options that we have. And I think we have them. So unlike South Africa, they have Zwane. 50% of their goals has come from Zwane. So that means it's easier for us to tag them. It's their goalkeeper and Zwane, personally. We get those two and easy peasy.
That's pretty easy and simple for you to say.
I'm not the one playing. I'm not the one playing.
But sometimes it's not so easy when it comes to the field of play. I remember one former player actually said that, yes, most sports presenters are better footballers than those that are actually on the field of play. Yeah, I mean, she's just an example of it. But we need to go on a break. And Sport Tonight will continue on all platforms except on DSTV, because on DSTV we'll be having Inside Niger Delta. Stay with us. Yeah, Edafe, this is to you, because on Sunday I was talking with Sunday Lise, about Nigeria, South Africa, and of course Cape Verde game, and what South Africans were able to do. And their goalkeeper talked about the fact that he had to watch more than 100 videos of Cape Verdeans players. I mean, the video analyst supplied that for him. He had to watch how they play across the world, and that was what actually helped him. And then he now concluded that it's better for Nigeria to finish regulation time and not go into penalties in the game on Wednesday. What are your thoughts? So I just mentioned that we have the striker who has scored their goals, and of course you have goalkeepers. If we can take those two out, then Nigeria will be ready to win. Edafe. Okay, I think Edafe is not ready.
I think we'll Edafe just dropped out. We'll hope to have him come back again. But Cecilia, I just want to say this, that everyone has got their good days, and that was a good moment for the South African goalkeeper. We can also argue the games where he was in goal and South Africa didn't win, probably had a bad outing. But it is what it is. It became a beast on that day for the penalties, So the best of goalkeepers will tell you that penalties for a goalkeeper is good guesswork and body movement, and it was just spot on with his body movement. So hopefully the Super Eagles will take it to penalties. But hey, this is football where anything can happen. Wabali also plays his football in South Africa. Maybe that's the gift that they have. If it comes to that, look at the semi-final stage. All die and die. Just go out there and just make sure you're going to play for the win. And I think that's the mentality the Super Eagles should have as they get into the field of play tomorrow. And look, the odds favor the Super Eagles. I like the fact that Coach Jose Pizarro is saying they want to take it one step at a time, playing down that tag of being favorites. He keeps saying, if you want to... I remember when I spoke to him, he said, for us to beat Angola, we must be better than we were against Cameroon. And they showed it. They showed they were stronger. Mentally, they keep growing. So for them to beat South Africa, they must be better, than they were against Angola. And I think that's just what I just want to do it for them.
One game at a time. Now, let's take a look at the statistics. Some will tell you stats don't play football, but sometimes when you look at head-to-heads and you look at the connection, you discover that, yes, you can actually look at that, and that will give you confidence. I mean, Nigeria and South Africa, the times they've actually met, numbers of times, 14 times, but then we're focusing on Africa Cup of Nations. If you take in total that 14 times, 7 Nigeria has won, 5 being a draw, and South Africa winning just 2. But now, let's take a look at the head-to-head at the Africa Cup of Nations only. Now, in February 2000, February 10th, Nigeria, South Africa, Nigeria won, and that was at the semi-final stage, and that was in Lagos. And come to January 2004, 31st, Nigeria 4, South Africa 0, and this was in group stage in Tunisia. And you come to the recent one, 2019, that's the last 2 editions before the one in 2021. And this one was in Cameroon. It was Nigeria 2 and South Africa 1, of course, and that was in the quarterfinal. So it shows that records tells you that all the time Nigeria and South Africa have won at the Africa Cup of Nations, it's always been all about Nigeria. Will Wednesday be different? Edafe, are you ready to join us now?
Yes, I think my village people decided I shouldn't continue the show.
You have
to. In the words of So, men mount, so we mount back.
Yeah. So, we want to know with the statistics favor Nigeria. Will tomorrow be any different?
So this is one tournament where I've not even made any prediction, because I kind of like pride myself that I get the prediction right all the time. This one I failed woefully. F9 Agbekbu, as we say on the streets of Warri. But bro, now South Africa will play. Let's leave all this plenty English where they speak. This not be the one we will lose. This is not the one way. If they lose, all the good way they do is investment. I don't think like the statistics have shown, and I don't even want to bring the statistics into this conversation. I just think that we've done everything we should have done to get here. And like they will say, Bible church people will say, having done not to stand therefore. We've reached the place where we can't afford to lose. This is the one team we have no business losing to. I know all those talk of, oh, their goalkeeper can catch wins, he can catch the devil, he can catch your oppressors. That's his business. He's the best savings account right now. That's his business. First off, we don't have any plans to take this game into penalties. And I think that if Osimhen plays with the same energy that he brings in, this is going to look like that game where we play in the year 2000, where Tijani Babangida, demystified the solidity of McFish and Lucas Kadebe. I'm rooting for the Super Eagles, but like they say, I don't want to predict so that I don't jinx them. But I'm rooting for the Super Eagles to beat South Africa in this one.
Yeah, because you may likely cut your hair on the February 11th. We don't know how that will pan out. All right.
I will cut it, obviously, but my wife is saying that she's not signing up on that. So that promise is one promise I might not keep. I don't know.
I'll give her a call. I'm going to give her a call after the
Why are you excited about me cutting my hair?
And that is going to be the most beautiful
Are you Delilah's dynasty?
No, I'm actually the opposite of her. You know what? Let's listen. We'll listen to, what the Super Eagles of Nigeria coach had to say, talking about Joseph Peseiro. But now let's listen to the coach of South Africa, Hugo Broos. Remember in 2017, he won it with Cameroon. But after that, he was fired a year later. I don't know why Cameroon did that. Yes, they didn't qualify for the World Cup in Russia, so he was fired. But let's listen to him and also listen to Rowan Williams, the goalkeeper that everyone has been talking about.
I think for many people, Nigeria tomorrow will be the favorite to win that game. But as you know, in football, it's not always the favorite to win. And we are confident and motivated to try that doesn't happen. And that South Africa is again, after more than 20 years, in the final. Now we believe that we can reach a final. And again, I believe in those players because they have qualities. We needed such that kind of tournaments, where we have to play a higher level, where we have to do things that normally South African players don't do in the national competition. And we succeeded. So that means that, that is the reason, I think, why we are now in semi-final. It's not anymore only those big countries who dominate AFCON. No, they worked very well in the last years, those little teams, and you see them now. With a little bit luck, maybe Cape Verde could be in the semi-finals, or Equatorial Guinea. So that means that it's a good thing for African football, I think, that also their little teams can go to AFCON with a goal of, yes, maybe we can. And that was not possible 7 years ago.
Not so many people believed in us, but we believed in ourselves and in what we've done the last few years. And we've shown, that it's possible. So we're looking forward to the game. We're excited. We've done our analysis. We're looking forward to the game. It's going to be a big one. Obviously, there's big rivalry between the two countries, and they are obviously the team that knocked us out the last time we were at AFCON, in 2019. So there's a lot at stake. There's a lot to play for, and we're ready and we're looking forward to the game. There's so many stats that were against us this tournament, and we proved, that stats don't play the game. So what happened in the future, in the past, that's in the past. We can't change that, but what we can change is tomorrow. Is tomorrow's result, is tomorrow's performance. So we don't look at that because that can't change now. We control what we can control, and that's tomorrow's performance and tomorrow's result. It's going to be tough, but we've been facing similar players throughout the tournament, and I think our defense has been rock solid. I think we've defended extremely well as a team. It's not about me, it's about the team. We pride ourselves in our defending. You can see our strikers, our forward players, our wingers working hard as well to assist us. And I think the back four has been amazing throughout the tournament. So we know it's going to be a tough challenge, but one that we're looking forward to.
You understand how challenging that will be. And Coach Hugo Bruce has talked about Nigeria, obviously, is favourite for this one. We've seen the statistics, we've seen the players, we've seen how Nigeria started. They're yet to lose a game. But South Africa haven't lost their opening game. Since then, they've been, well, you can use the word spotless, even scoring 4 against Namibia. I mean, we just listened to what the coach and, of course, the captain. They're brimming with confidence because no one gave them a chance. If you're looking at teams coming into the tournament that didn't have favorite tag on them, South Africa were one of those teams. No one was even looking at them. But South Africa came to light, so to speak, after taking out a World Cup finalist, Morocco. And now all eyes are on them. With all eyes on them, their fans back home are still not trusting them, especially when they're facing Nigeria. Okay, let's not use hypothesis now. But the confidence that they have, where is it coming from? Is it coming from the fact that they've been able to navigate a tough team like Morocco and coming into this one? Remember, Morocco didn't have Hakim Ziyech, with them when they won that round of 16 match.
I don't think, even if Hakim was there, the way that game was poised, the way it was played, some people were playing checkers, the others were playing chess, and that's because one thing that South Africa has done, and I was one of those that said that they would probably be able to reach quarterfinals, but I didn't see them coming into the semi-finals, and it's big credit to them. Just like Desiree when she was coming into the Women's World Cup last year for the women, same for Hugo Bruce. I mean, nobody rates him. The Belgian has been fantastic. He has won Coach of the Year, I think, about 4 times in his career. They said this was his closing act after the Cameroon thing. He wasn't going to do much, and then when he started, he carried young boys. But one thing I respect for this man is the fact that most coaches, when they are messing up in their strategy, they will leave it like that and they'll be forming we know. It's with that no pass. But this man had the opportunity to just tweak up and get some experience and get guys that are playing in the local league. And one key thing for them is the release of their passes. If you look at the statistics that you brought for all the times that Nigeria has played South Africa, the reason why we have been having a free time with them is they hold the ball too long. Now they release the ball faster. In fact, between them and Nigeria, we have one of the fastest release. When we hold on to the ball, inside 1.5 seconds, they are gone with it. So they are holding on to set pieces, draw fouls across the 18 board. Free kicks, they are very fantastic with it. So I think he has done a great job, a great match set. We are ready for it.
Ready for it. Let's wrap up Nigeria game before we go to the next one. Cote d'Ivoire and the host nation. Cote d'Ivoire, the host nation, and DR Congo. Edefe, finally on Nigeria match. I mean, how can Pesero set up tomorrow? What do you think he should do? Changes he needs to make to win this game?
Did exactly what Hugo Bruce did. First game, we played a 1-1, and it felt like, oh, not again, because 1-1 was the scoreline when we played Lesotho and Zimbabwe. But somehow he managed to change from his traditional 4-3-3, the same 4-3-3 that Iguavon, Ganotro had used, and he decided, you know what? Everybody says that Nigeria have the best attack in Africa, but not so solid in defense. But it's gotten rid of Francis Uzo, brought in Stanley Wabali, and then decided, let me play a 3-man at the back and give that Zaidu and Olaino, who I consider Nigeria's one of the most talented, technically gifted player in the team. Give them a chance to go forward. And players like Frank Onyeka have come to the party at the very right time. We're shouting Alassane Yusuf, and we're hoping that after his injury will come in. But the way Frank Onyeka have played is shown that, okay, there's competition for spots. I have to live up to the billing. Players like Moses Simon, who cannot even cross to save his life, have won man of the match twice. I've also done well. So I agree that, the strength of the South African team is their togetherness, the solidity of their defense. But Nigeria have conceded only 1 goal in this tournament. Nigeria have not lost a game in this tournament. Nigeria also have learned how to play like Cameroon of 1988. In 88, Cameroon scored a single goal in every game going to the finals, even though they robbed us in the finals, but they won the tournament. And nobody will remember whether they robbed us anymore. The only game they drew was a group game with Nigeria. It was 1-1. So Nigeria is also following that path. I think that in football, we say if it's not broken, you don't fix it. There's nothing broken with the team right now. Osimhen was the one that I was worried about whether he would be ready or not. And who comes in between Terry Murphy, Onwachu, or Kelechi Iheanacho. But now he's available. I think I'll go with the team that played the last game and just tell them, run at this opposition, keep it tight at the back, but look for their fault, their mistake, and then put it there. We don't have to go take the game into penalties.
Easy peasy. I like that. Austin, we have to move to DR Congo right now, and of course Cote d'Ivoire, because we can use the whole show to talk about Nigeria, South Africa. Yes, it's worth it because that is the semi-final.
And nobody will blame us, because
Precisely.
We know where we're coming from. So now we just want to breathe, we want to believe We want to support this team as best as we can. You know, I've tried so hard to, you know, think about how good it would be for Nigerian football if the Super Eagles go on to win this AFCON, particularly that they believed in themselves before the start of the competition to be good. Let's talk about DR Congo. That's an interesting team. And I remember so well when we're doing the preview of the AFCON, I told Yemi and Shola Rogers that DR Congo is that team that as long as they are running, it's difficult to beat them. And look at how they've been able to keep it going at this competition. Still unbeaten, just like Nigeria. Let's remember that. And against Cote d'Ivoire, the way they will set up, I know it will be very, very difficult for Cote d'Ivoire. Did you see the way they handled Mali? Yeah. Look, Mali played football and Mali got tired. That's how bad that DR Congo can soak you, take you to the wings. When you think they want to attack, they will reshuffle and send it back to the middle. They tell you that they know how to stress you, and when you take your eyes off the ball, they score. Cote d'Ivoire is one team that I think for now, the gods of African football came together and said, look, if Cote d'Ivoire leave at the group stage without humiliating defeat to Equatorial Guinea, maybe they would have just wake up one morning and say, everybody leave our country. So, gods of football in Africa say, no, keep Cote d'Ivoire at this competition. Let the fans still see good football. Let them dance. Let them sing. And now, if Cote d'Ivoire lose to DR Congo, they'll say, that's so bad. They'll try to get the bronze in the third place match. So, it's going to be a very, crunch encounter when Cote d'Ivoire clash with DR Congo. But let's take a minute to give West African teams their flowers on the show tonight. Yeah. They're doing so well at this competition. So well. NFA, let me quickly come to you before I come to Swo. The Leopards DR Congo, I mean, if you check the last time they faced Cote d'Ivoire, it was in 2015. And of course, they lost 3-1. And at the group stage, Austin mentioned it, they did not win a game. It was draws all through. But they went on to take out Egypt. And after taking out Egypt, they went on to take out Guinea 3-1. And that was their best performance so far against the host nation. The team, I don't know, maybe they could have a new tag. Now, instead of elephants, maybe the team on the brink. They've always been on the brink, but somehow they bounce back. And then they know how to always get the victory after being on that brink.
They say it's cats with 9 lives. I think the Ivorians can tell themselves that they have forever lives, because you look at them, they're not really exceptional. Yes, there's Sangare, there's Casey, Sebastian Haller has come in, but there's still something missing in this team. And Cote d'Ivoire always strike me like the Netherlands of African football. And they wear similar jersey color as well. But when you look at DR Congo, it doesn't convince me completely that they can beat this Ivorian team, because Ivorian team seem to be like that team that can, play to the death and still be able to get something. Look at that last-minute goal that they scored against Mali. That the most heartbreaking, so bad that the engine of the Malian coach head went into overheat. They have to pour him cold water to calm him down. So that's how bad this team is. They know how to play to the death. But DR Congo will also look at themselves and say, listen, if we lose here, we still have a third-place match to play against either Nigeria or South Africa. We didn't come into this tournament expecting this one. Even in the group stage, 3 draws, nobody expected them to go through with 3 points, but then eventually that happened. So I'm going to sit here and say, because of history, on the bank of history, I'm hoping that DR Congo will beat Cote d'Ivoire, because the last 2 times they've won it, they beat the host country in the semifinals. Tomorrow again, they'll be playing the host country in the semifinals. They just might be the lucky ones.
Maybe the luck is running out of Cote d'Ivoire then from your prediction. But I want to thank you so much for taking our time to join us on the show tonight. Hopefully we can do this after AFCON, or maybe before the final.
Hopefully we'll do it before the finals. Thank you very much for having me on the show, and big shout out to everybody in the studio.
Thank you so much. So let me quickly ask you this. I mean, Cote d'Ivoire, they were going to be without some key players. Diakite, I mean, Diakite, who scored the first, he's suspended. Of course, he had to pull his shirt. And it's okay. I mean, 122 minutes. So he took off his shirt. He was already on the yellow. Yeah. Of course, he's suspended. Sergio is also suspended. He's not playing. Christian Kome is suspended. Yeah. Of course, Odilon Kusunu, the guy who feels as if he was the bad man in that game.
He was their Metasaka.
Precisely.
He was sucking
everything. He collected red, and of course, that's 5 key players. I mean, what will Ifeanyi do Wednesday night? What
I
should
don't
he
think
do?
he has anything to do. I mean, every time I see him talk, like, I've been to his pressers and see what he says, and honestly speaking, all he says is, I'm just going to speak to my boys.
Yeah.
I'm just going to speak to my boys. I'll give them word. And at least the word, he pushed them. Right now, they have at least equaled a lot of records for their national team. They've been able to be the third nation, you know, in the third consecutive AFCON host nation to reach a semi-final. Clap for yourself, even with what a shambolic team that they have been showing. I feel like this is a game poised for Dr. Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, to do something that when they were in Zaire as a nation, that's when they did it last. What a wait. It's the longest wait in between titles, apart from the one for Tunisia, 1965, 1996, I think. But I feel like they don't have the core, they don't have the grit. What they usually have is, let's just play vibes and inshallah. Vibes and inshallah. Vibes and inshallah takes you only so far. If you do not have a game plan, I mean, you are ragged. And if you check their last games incoming, they've been very flagrant with the fouls. They've been very indisciplined. They're like a Chelsea in this AFCON. They always just concede. When they go for ball, it is likely that it's going to be a cardinal offense. And, you know, the gods of football favor them eventually when they played against Senegal. But this one, I feel like Yohan Wissa is ready to run them streets. And I don't see a core. This is not even the fans know. If you go and check online, they've been trying to sell tickets for the final with the mind that, oh, Ivory Coast will be in the final. But they know. You know where their tickets is selling more? It's in the losers' final. No offense. Even the fans, they know.
They understand that there's not so much luck can take you, right?
How can you
Because
do that?
against Mali was like wizard. I mean, how do you play 45 minutes, I mean, with 10 players? And also, they conceded 71st minute and went on extra time. Before the final whistle, you won. But that's the kind of miracle we actually want. All right, Austin, let's leave AFCON and, of course, get into another business.
We'll just get out of the AFCON. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's finally talk about that fight between a British-Nigerian boxer, Dan Aziz, and Joshua Boatsi. It wasn't the sort of outcome Dan Aziz wanted because he lost by unanimous decision, 116 to 110 and 117 to 109. Lost his British and Commonwealth titles to Joshua Boatsi. This was another Nigeria versus Ghana contest, but Dan Aziz isn't, bothered about the loss. He believes that he will bounce back, and also looking at the prospect of taking big fights to Africa.
Oh, I would love for that, man. Do you know what I mean? That would be, obviously I'm Nigerian myself. Josh is from Ghana. I've been both countries. I love both of the countries. To be honest, I love both their jollof rice too. So, if we could bring these kind of events to Africa, it'll be wonderful. Do you know what I mean? It's not just me that's a African sportsman or boxer. There's plenty of us. We're just the lucky ones that have been able to break through and make it onto national TV and whatnot. There's loads of us up and coming. There's still veterans out there. There's loads of good African boxers, and it would be great if one day we could just, put on a show and, show our talent to the world. It'll be brilliant. Africa is growing so much. We're looking at it now, and the broadcast potential and the big fights potential is definitely there. There's an appetite. I'd love to see it. And it was about Ghana and Nigeria, and it brought them together. And you saw communities together tonight, and it was special to see. There's definitely a love and respect as well, as much as a really fierce rivalry. Can we get big fights to Africa? We love to. I've spoken to Martin Bakoli about that, who's Congolese as well, and he'd love to fight there. Richard Riakpo as well. He's from Nigeria, and he'd love to fight there. He's going to fight for a world title next against Chris Billen-Smith. So many great fighters from Africa, and most of the big fighters now are coming with African descent as well. So, fingers crossed there'll be fights there very soon.
Yeah, that's what we want. If these guys have African heritage, we should be able to have some big fights back home, for the development of the sport. So, Cecilia, before we go, quick, roundup of FA Cup results. halftime, actually, from different centers. It's Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Plymouth 0, Leeds United 0, Southampton and Watford halftime, and it's also goalless. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, so it was nice doing this with you. First time was sport tonight, right?
Yes.
It's always been sport this morning. Yeah.
Yes.
The ninth time.
Oh, yes, this is good. This is really good. And I think it's a good omen. Yeah.
That's,
we win.
you're
That
winning
means
tomorrow.
like,
you know, we're back here, right?
I guess. This is fun.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Amogbe. Have a good night's rest.